New Testament, true truth. That's what we're looking at. We just found true and truth in John chapter 4 with Jesus of Nazareth doing the narrative. John has it recorded for reading purposes. Now, in review, Jesus spoke to a woman at the well, and here are his words for you. You worship that which you do not know. We worship that which we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But an hour is coming, and now is. Do you think it's gotten here yet? I just want to ask you that question right now. Could the hour be here? Jesus says the hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and truth. For such people, the Father seeks to be his worshipers. God is a spirit, and those who worship him here being a spirit, must worship in spirit and truth. I'll just put in right here, there's a lot of people worshiping, but they lack truth. I'm not looking at truth right now that much, but I'm looking at truth in John chapter 5. We move on. In John chapter 5, we find some more words, and I'm going to find the word true again. In John chapter 5. Well, I better just catch John chapter 4, verse 37 before I go on. John chapter 4, verse 37. Verse 30. Evidently, I must have marked that one wrong because I don't see it in John chapter 4, verse 37. But, needless to say, I can go on to John chapter 5, verse 31. John chapter 5. Jesus is speaking again. Jesus is not speaking to a woman at a well, but he is speaking. He has done some things. If you read chapter 5, and Jesus says something in verse 17. Notice what he says, please. My Father is working until now, and I myself am working. They're a little bit upset. Somebody doesn't like work. And I know someone who doesn't like work. They're the ones who can fleece sheep. Yeah, they can take their money. But Jesus is speaking here. And the Jews were seeking all the more to kill him. Notice, it's not the Gentiles who want him dead. It's the Jews. And Jesus says, And this is all because Jesus just said, my Father is working until now, and I myself am working. Imagine that. Jesus thinks his Father is God. I think it's way past a think here. I think Jesus knows for certain. I mean, he's 30 years old. He's read the book. All of the book there was for him to read, he had read it. Jesus never read what I'm reading here. He may have said what I'm reading here, but Jesus never opened this book to read what I'm reading. Jesus says, truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself, unless it is something he sees the Father doing. Whatever Father does, these things the Son also does in like manner. The Father loves the Son and shows him all things that he himself is doing, and greater works than these will he show him, that you may marvel. Jesus has just told them something that's going to happen in the future. And guess what his next words are? I will get to John 4:23. And Jesus says, just as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, even so the Son also gives life to whom he wishes. For not even the Father judges anyone, but he has given all judgment to the Son, in order that all may honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. He who does not honor the Son does not honor the Father who sent him. Those are the words Jesus said. Truly, truly, I say to you, he who hears my word and believes him who sent me. Who must we believe? John was sent, and now Jesus is claiming he is sent. And he says, truly I say to you, an hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear shall live. For just as the Father has life in himself, even so he gave to the Son also to have life in himself, and he gave him authority to execute judgment, because he is Son of Man. Do not marvel at this, an hour is coming, in which all who are in the tombs shall hear his voice. Jesus is speaking here of his Father's voice. It's what Jesus is speaking here of. This is not John writing about Jesus and his voice. This is Jesus speaking about his Father and his voice. He gave him authority to execute judgment. All shall come forth, those who did good to a resurrection of life, and those who committed the evil to a resurrection of judgment. If I alone bear witness of myself, my testimony is not true. That's what he says. There is another who bears witness of me, and I know that the testimony which he bears of me is true. you have sent to John, and he has borne witness to the truth. He was the lamp that was burning and was shining, and you were willing to rejoice for a while in his light. But the witness which I have is greater than of John, for the works which the Father has given me to accomplish, the very works that I do, bear witness of me, that the Father has sent me. Yes, we've made it through John chapter 5.